this here to... Oh, that worked really well. Well, g'day guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Matt and we're about to do some work on Tiny 1, which is the first of the D11s that we got. Now, it's a bit of a mess here, but I think I've got all the bits and pieces we need. So I got the compressor with me here. The Atlas Copco compressor, the yellow one, is still down at the development block, so it's handy having the two compressors now. So we don't have to keep shuffling it between properties, because it's about 40 k's, 45 k's or something, or maybe it's 50 k's. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, we've got this one still here, and I've got a drum of engine oil. It takes about 100 and something litres, I can't remember exactly. So yeah, got a big drum of that. I've got all the old drums here that we can just take underneath and drain the old oil into these. I've got the transfer pump, I've got the grease gun, does need a grease as well, and also we need to adjust the tracks. Just I'll check the adjustment in the tracks and possibly readjust them. Yeah, so we're about to just head down, and it's down at the other main farm, so it's only about 6-7 k's away. Well, we're sitting up here in Tiny 1. So I've got Johnny down here actually. He's just checking the oil before we warm it up to then change the oil. But we've also got to blow out the filter, cab filter behind there, the engine air filters, and what else? Oh yeah, we'll blow the radiator out while the compressor's here. And yeah, I think that's about all we're gonna do, plus adjust the track tension, I think is the main thing. We don't actually have the oil for the final drive, so we might have to do that tomorrow when we get some oil, but the final drives are pretty easy to do. So once Johnny gives me the okay, I'll fire it up.
Yeah, we're good.
All good. Clear prop. So what I'll probably do is I'll load it up just to get everything up to temp, put the motor under a bit of load, and yeah, then we can get the buckets under there and drain the oil. I don't know, I've just been loading it up a bit just by putting the brake on, sticking it in gear, and just keeping an eye on the torque converter temp. But yeah, our water temp's at about 70 degrees, a little bit over. I think for the oil change that's going to be fine. I don't want to burn myself, so should be right to shut off. Can hear again.
Yeah.
Bit loud. Well, there's no real gracious way of doing this. It's easier to go through the front. Don't really want to leave the blade up in case, unless you've got proper chocks, so. Oh. So, let's have a look. It's not actually full of mud once, so there's the tap, and then the bung. Oh no, the bung's not there, so just a little bit of mud to pull out. That's pretty good actually. Right, well Johnny's blowing out the air cleaner there, so I've got to get the multi grips and pull these engine oil filters off. We will give the radiator a blowout as well while we're here. Yeah, So the beauty is, with all the old oil in the drums down there, when we're done here, I'll just lift the blade back up, and then we can collect all the drums, and off we go. So it makes it a bit easier. Well, we're manoeuvred in here, so we're going to get the Milwaukee transfer pump, and yeah, be able to pump it straight out of the 44 gallon drum into the engine oil. I reckon it's going to be about 110 litres, something like that. Should just about do it, I think. Let's fire it up and see how good we are with the levels. Oil pressure light out. Right, we'll double check that, then blow the radiator out, and then we're done. Right, well, we're just blowing that down and just going to let the oil settle a bit so we know what level we're at. We might have to put a little bit more in it, I think, but we'll just see how we go. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a shed to do this in. It's very open here. That is done. So Johnny actually did the track tension while I was doing the oil filters. But for those who haven't seen previous videos, all it is that little cover plate there. You undo that, and then there's a grease nipple in there, and you just pump grease into it, and it slowly pushes out on the cannon, it's called, and that's how the track's tensioned. So it should be ready to go, I think. So the other thing happening here is the grader's back up here. It's about to do a job down at the development block. So where the grader is, we should find Robbo. So he's going to try and hide. How we going, Robbo?
Hey Matty, how are you, mate?
We're good. Now, it's been a little while since you've been on camera.
Yeah.
Where's your hat?
Yeah, in the cab.
You're going to blind some people.
Yeah. Gotta charge the solar panel up.
So what's happening with the grader?
Just a couple of minor repairs, mate, on the grease lines.
So the auto greasing system.
Yeah, just on the front, on the tie rod ends.
Yep.
A couple of minor repairs. And yeah, go and do some roads and contour banks.
Nice.
Where Phil's been playing around with the dozer.
There's plenty of work with the grader with the dozers around, isn't there?
Oh, he's done a bit of a too good of a job down here. There's sort of not much left to do.
Well, that's good. I'll leave you to it. I'm in a bit of a muddle today. I'm trying to get all parts organised to do the air conditioning on Tiny 3. And yeah, it's turned into a bit of a circus. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what's happened. So Tiny 3's air conditioning had stopped working. We haven't really tested it out. We haven't really used it in the summer months to find out how good the system was or anything like that. So yeah, it was no good. So basically we've worked out that we're just going to go through, put a new TX valve, receiver dryer, compressor, flush it all out and start again, and that way we sort of know where we're at. Now, something weird has really happened, and we've been supplied a compressor for it, which is for a gas that has been basically illegal for like 20 something years. It's R12 is the gas that used to be in all the cars, but you can no longer get that, and it's been like that for a long time. So somehow this compressor snuck into the system, and we've been sold it, and luckily I saw that it had on it that use only mineral oil, which isn't compatible with the gas we use now. And so anyway, we've got a new one coming, another compressor coming, but tomorrow is a public holiday, so we won't see it then. It won't be till Friday, which is the day after that we'll see that compressor. So I've sort of got all the gear, but the main component, yeah, I don't have. So but anyway, there's plenty of other stuff to do. But while I'm here, what I'll show you is this is one of the new contour banks that Phil pushed up in Tiny 1. So this is a main farm, and we've got Robbo, he's somewhere over there, and he's on the grader, just smoothing out all these banks. So this is what it looks like after the grader's been over. It really just helps to take any of the sharp edges out, because you'll see here where the dozer has been, even though we've run it over with the offsets, or the two-way disc plough, yeah, it's still a little bit rough and yeah, not great. So once you run it over with the grader, it's like a racetrack. It would make a good racetrack actually, but yeah, it is much smoother, and when we come through to plant, yeah, you get a much better, more even depth with your seed, rather than it all being up and down, and you get a poor plant establishment because of that. So that's where we're at there, and I'm just going to head down to the development block, which is where Tiny 3 is, and there's a couple other jobs that I need to do there, so we'll just have to hold off on the aircon for now. While I'm here, why not? I'll throw the drone up and I'll spy on Robbo. That way we get a good look. It's not often the grader's back on the property here, so I'll get some drone footage of that. Well, we're here on Tiny 3, and I've basically just spent the last 3 or 4 hours just sooking because the compressor's not going to work, but no, that's not true. But what I've done in the meantime is double check that we've got all the right bits and bobs, make sure the receiver drive is going to fit, make sure the TX valve there is the right one, so that all looks like it's going to be okay. And yeah, I think just once we get the compressor on Friday, I'll flush all the lines out and go from there. So hopefully it all goes well. But what I'm doing in the meantime as well, bear with me while I try not to fall down the big hole there, is we've got this here to, oh, that worked really well. That went on the ground too. Well, you'll have to wait till I go get that and I'll do that again. Right, let's try that again. I might hold it over here. So I've got just a normal cigarette socket in that one, and this one here is a dual USB charge, so it actually got the quick charge 3.0 as well, so Brad shouldn't complain about flat battery on his phone anymore. But I think I'm going to mount that about there. I reckon that'll be out of the road, and I might actually find a new spot for the microphone there. It doesn't really fit in that holder anyway, but I reckon that'll be nice and out of the road. I've already started to tidy up a bit of the wiring here, so that'll all tuck in behind there. And I think that'll be the only thing with that side of things that we need to do. But yeah, obviously on Friday I've got to get down in there and replace the compressor and all that, so we'll get all these other jobs tidied up first. Well, that's all done. Got that mounted, wired up. All the wiring's just tied up behind there. It was a bit of a mess, but at least it's a bit tidier, so that should be good to go. Can charge the earmuffs there, and yeah, we do need to get the compressor in here and just give the cab a big blowout, because it obviously had the doors open for a week or so with no aircon. But the other thing I've got to do is double check the doors. They're rattling when it's closed, they're not sealing properly, so I might have to adjust the latches here, I imagine, but hopefully it's as simple as that. So anyway, we'll probably be it for today. Yeah, I guess this video will continue on Friday when we're doing the aircon stuff, I imagine.